This is Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff. March Madness.
Hello, my
Ah,
friends.
we're back.
We are back from about a month. About a month? Been about a month? About a
Think
month.
so. Think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spring break.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we want an extended spring break. Today is Monday, March 18th, and the madness is upon us, but not just in college basketball, but also in NFL free
No shit.
agency.
Oh boy.
Lots to chat about in that. But if we have, for some reason, picked up any new listeners in our spring break, as a reminder, I am your host, the guide of this rudderless ship, Muff, followed alongside the Ohio homer, the Ohio degenerate, James.
Hello. Hello.
Also in the degenerate pool is the medical degenerate and the WVU super fan, Alex.
That's me.
And last but certainly not least is our resident official, the guru of officiating, and a man that is behind the plate in the local baseball scene right now, Nate.
Not looking forward to baseball. I'm already getting football games for the fall. So can we just
I,
fast forward to football, please?
I still think you should be a high school wrestling ref, like big time. Think that's what you should do.
No
Big.
interest.
I get it, but I wouldn't want to squat behind home plate all summer. That sounds horrible.
Say la vie. Also, sometimes in the background at the Harper household is the guru of glitter, Sam.
Hey,
Sam is
Hey.
joining us. Not making any super sweet hats.
Man,
not
I
right
need
now. I'm eating a salad and some hot pepper cheese balls.
I need a new hat. This one's getting old and busted.
Good news on the way, Jim. Good news on the way.
There's a whole box of them sitting on my floor.
Hmm. With those introductions, this week we're going to get into the fun, all of the fun for our favorite NFL teams in free agency. Get the all anticipated update on Jim's fandom. Talk about the upcoming college basketball tournaments on both the men's and women's side, and chat about other news from the sports world. But first, please do not miss
But
out.
first,
Ah,
As first, as always, don't miss out on an opportunity to enter our tournament bracket challenge hosted by ESPN for both the men's and women's tourneys. You can connect by visiting any of our social pages or visiting the Linktree link through the social bios. Winners are going to be receiving some sports stuff with Jim and Muff merch.
prizes.
prizes.
You can follow us at Sports Jim Muff on Instagram and Twitter, Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff on Facebook, on YouTube. And while you're there to get the link, you can subscribe, comment, rate, review, poke, like, tickle,
Get the bell on.
Ding ding.
and like and share something while you are there.
How many days till football?
It's under 200.
Well, it depends what football you're talking about. If you're talking UFL, it's like 2 weeks.
Actual real football.
It's probably about 170-ish days. That would be my guess.
How many days till the draft?
6-ish weeks.
Okay.
5.5 weeks, I think, at this point.
So we're getting there. We're plodding along.
We are. And without any further ado, let's start this episode out with the free agency world in the NFL.
What sound effect do we have?
Like
What?
Twilight.
That gives me Disney World where I scraped my head off.
She
Which?
screamed on the tower in terror.
The dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
But it was worse on that one.
But free agency is more like a train wreck. Like
It's not necessarily a train wreck for everybody.
that's true.
I don't
There
know.
are
This
some
seems
winners.
to be the most active free agency I can remember in a long time.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, we've got
Shout.
solar eclipse coming up, and I feel like the NFL is just capitalizing on all of this.
Yeah.
Since there's so much that has been going on, too much to break down every little thing, we're going to do our best to hit the big items and then talk about what's happened for our favorite teams. So Nate's going to chat about what's happened for the Bucks. Alex and I are going to chat about what's happened for the Steelers. And Jim is going to give an update on his fandom situation that is up for sale. He's no longer going to be supporting the Chargers for many reasons, but mostly because Jim Harbaugh is the head coach.
Yeah.
So let's start out with some of the big moves that have happened in the NFL world, not affiliated with either the Bucks or the Steelers to start. First, we had Jason Kelsey retiring.
That was a sad retirement.
Yeah, I like him being around,
Yeah.
but I get it.
Definitely, he took us on a journey throughout his entire life.
Alex, do you blame Taylor Swift for this?
Absolutely.
I figured.
Why?
I actually don't think I can put her into that.
You'll try though.
I will try. I was trying to think of a good reason right off the bat. Maybe it's just he's under so much stress at home now because he has to deal with his brother having a bad girlfriend.
Right.
And now he's
Excuse me?
so
Right.
it's to quit. Yep.
Are you
That's,
bad, my girl?
Yep.
That was rude.
I don't take it back.
Alex has never stopped bad mouthing Taylor Swift. Never
Honestly,
stopped.
I don't badmouth Taylor Swift personally. I just don't like the Taylor Swift and Travis Kelsey hype.
Well, I think it's died off a little bit since football ended.
Thank goodness.
Thank goodness. Aaron Donald has also retired after 10 years in the NFL and at the top of his game.
And like he had just signed an extension not long ago.
Yeah, but I think there were rumors even during the season or last year about him possibly retiring. Because wasn't it like if they couldn't get him, Matt Stafford, and someone else extended, then he was just going to hang it up anyway?
Yeah,
there
you're
was speculation last offseason that he was considering retirement. Now what has come out is that he's most likely going to be pursuing a acting career.
right. Okay.
I can only
So
see him really being in the role of a bodyguard.
Good for him.
see what comes of it. I mean, Gronk has just become a sideshow as far as
Yeah.
his acting. So we'll see. Maybe Aaron Donald will have a little bit more of a serious acting career, but to be determined. But he goes out on top. I think will be remembered as one of the more dominant. I don't know what top 5, top 10 in his position and or in NFL history, but definitely a top player.
All right.
Next, we had Kirk Cousins getting another big old deal heading to Atlanta, and we need to find his agent to start representing all of our interests.
Man.
You know, I
You're
saw
not
a thing
wrong
that
there.
didn't realize it. He only has one playoff win, and he's getting bag after bag.
It's all the bags. Cam Newton made some statements about this. So really, it was. I want his agent, which is realistic. Like everyone should want
Mhm.
Kirk Cousins representation.
I like Kirk Cousins a lot as a person. Like I really want this man to win a Super Bowl. Bad. But I think it's funny, like I mean, I guess if Cam Newton's just saying he wishes he had his agent, but I'm like, yeah, but you're not nearly as talented as Kirk Cousins. So that also would play into the equation.
Yeah, I mean, Cam does have an MVP. Kirk
Mm,
Cousins, I think the biggest issue for me in getting a bag like this is he's coming off an Achilles tear.
Yeah.
Like it's
So
not like he's coming off a
Rodgers.
healthy
So was
season.
Aaron
Yeah.
Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers
Ah.
already had the deal.
Aaron Rodgers is going to be the next president. In his mind.
That's already been debunked, but
Has it though?
yes, it has, Jim.
Would it be any worse than what we have now?
Whew. Whew.
Saquon Barkley starting the running back train to the Eagles, going back to Pennsylvania.
That felt odd. But like I understand, like, listen, Giants, you probably should have treated him better during the extension talks. But Philly?
Isn't he from that general area, though?
Yeah, he's from Pennsylvania, Jim.
I get it, but Philly's the Giants' rivals. Like, it felt like you did that on purpose.
I mean, in a way, kind of. It seemed like a lot, and we'll get into more of these picks, but it seemed like a lot of guys are switching within their divisions.
Yeah, more so than usual. There was just a carousel, especially in the running back position. Maybe by design for some of these running backs, as Derrick Henry makes his way to Baltimore.
They might be dangerous with him.
That's what I was gonna say.
They are going to be dangerous with him. If
It's
they
gonna be rough.
passing game.
I mean, unless Justin Fields leads the Steelers to greatness and just trounces them twice. Sorry.
We'll get to that. We'll
Spoiler
get to
alert.
that.
Spoiler alert.
We'll get to that.
Spoiler alert. Yeah, Derrick Henry to the Ravens is a positive addition. They don't have Gus Edwards, but they have who's coming back from injury this year, Jim? Former Ohio State running back.
J.K. Dobbins.
Yes. So yes, definitely a positive addition for the Ravens. Take some hits away from Lamar Jackson, presumably, and going to be a good addition within the AFC North. We also had Josh Jacobs heading to the Packers as Aaron Jones was released, and then he later signed with the Vikings. Is this a net positive for the Packers? Neutral?
I think this one was the one that left me the most like dumbfounded. Like the whole thing of them getting Josh Jacobs and then like, oh, and by the way, Aaron Jones, you're gone. I mean, I don't see this as an upgrade for the Packers. I mean, maybe they're saving some money there, but I think if anything, it's a lateral or a downgrade.
Yeah, I think that was the issue for Aaron Jones was he just did a team-friendly deal last year, and then they end up releasing him. So it's like, oh, so I restructured my contract so that I would get more money later, and then you just let me go. Okay, guys, double birds on the way out the door.
And then him going to Minnesota, I don't know. Same thing, like I said before, the whole inter-division thing. Like, I don't know if that's a spite thing. Because, again, with Kirk going to Atlanta, who's going to be your quarterback in Minnesota going forward? And I think Justin Jefferson's one of the same thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of Justin Jefferson. What are we going to do to make him happy at this point? We also had former Chargers running back Austin Eckler headed to the Commanders.
Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Well, I am not a Chargers fan for the year, maybe longer for the rest of my life. Who knows?
Oh, I feel like you've denounced fandom forever.
I think I have.
You cannot go back, I think, at this point. Then you're just going to be a bandwagoner.
You know, that might be true. The Chargers lost a lot.
More upcoming about the other pieces that they have lost.
And I think losing this piece was bad. Bad.
Yeah. That was kind of one of their shining spots.
Yeah. Bad.
The Bengals released Joe Mixon, who then later signed with the Panthers.
Kind of surprised me.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Who's that other guy that they had the chase?
I thought, wait a minute, is that correct? I thought Joe Mixon, they said they traded him and he signed an extension with the Texans.
Fact check.
Uh-oh.
I'm trying to
Look
remember
that up, Nate.
I'm trying to remember what that other guy
He
is.
5 days ago,
He is the Texans.
What is the other guy that the Bengals had that was named? It's not, I mean, obviously Jamar Chase, but there's another.
T. Higgins is the one that they're trying to figure out what they're going to do. He is asked to be traded.
No, yeah, but they had another decent young running back.
Look that up, buddy.
You, Ryan?
I thought maybe someone small. I mean, he's good too, but
Yeah, I thought they said they were going to release Mixon, but then they ended up trading him to Houston, and then he signed an extension for like 3 years.
Yeah. The Bengals picked up Zach Moss. I have no idea who you're thinking about, Alex. There's nobody else on that
Chase
depth
Brown.
chart that makes sense.
Chase Brown's our second string running back right now.
Fair enough.
Zach Moss, Chase Brown, Travion Williams.
Okay. So that's what happened with there. Joe Mixon, I don't know if that was a salary cap move, maybe hopefully to pick up some more offensive linemen to protect Joe Burrow.
Hopefully.
Do not know. Calvin Ridley says goodbye to Jacksonville and says hello, Tennessee, as he makes his way to the Titans. I mean, Titans definitely
Zero
needed some wide
set.
receiver.
Mm-hmm. Well, I saw all the people questioning Tennessee's motives. So like, you wouldn't pay AJ Brown, but you're going to go pay
Oh, yeah.
Calvin.
Oh yeah, that was yeah. It's very interesting in the moves that they went to get to Calvin Ridley over the past couple years. As Jim has mentioned, the Chargers released Mike Williams and they traded Keenan Allen to the Bears.
Stupid. Chargers
Leaving,
ownership.
leaving
folks.
who? Leaving
I mean,
who?
they're just like mass exodus.
The
Jim, how do you
cupboard's
think
empty.
Justin Herbert feels right now?
They have no players.
Pissed off?
Gerald Everett even left, I believe.
I mean,
He
like
did.
they have no players.
Joey Bosa restructured his deal and everything.
Khalil Mack did too.
Yeah.
Eric
So-
Kendricks agreed to terms from the 49ers to the Cowboys. Like, that was a former linebacker of the Chargers. Like,
Is he
what
the
do
one?
the Chargers have?
Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, Justin Herbert, and Jim
That's it.
Harbaugh.
And Jim Harbaugh. I think I did good jumping out.
You got off while you could.
Yeah.
Definitely made a move. Definitely made a move. CJGJ returns to the Eagles.
Yeah. Yeah. And
mean-
apologize when he got there.
Yeah, well, that'll
The
happen.
Eagles are setting up for something.
Hey, they got to make a run while they can.
Yeah.
Hollywood Brown makes his way to Kansas City.
Can we go back to the Chargers for a second? Because I just saw I was
No.
looking at that Mike Williams deal. Give me 1 second.
You're no longer a Chargers fan. We do not give
I
them this
understand.
type
I'm
of
not right.
pub.
This is more of a question. They released Mike Williams to save $20 million on the salary cap, and Bosa restructured his deal.
Yes.
What are they saving money for?
Probably a whole bunch of wide receivers that they don't have on the roster at the moment.
But who's available? Like, who are they going to go get?
Maybe they're trying to bring Justin Jefferson in.
Okay.
That's a thought. I don't know if it's a legitimate thought, but it's a thought. At
All right,
this point,
carry on.
anything is possible.
You're right. Carry on.
Mac Jones makes his way to Jacksonville from New England.
Where his mom's going to pick him up in half an hour.
I feel bad for Mac Jones.
Why is that, Jim?
Like, he's now going to go into the realm of forgettable.
Yeah.
Like, he's not like a serviceable quarterback. He's just going to be gone.
Just
Yeah.
gonna disappear. To be
Well,
the
at least he's
next
doing
Josh Rosen.
Yeah, I feel bad.
Yes, Nate.
I'll say at least they sent him to his hometown, so whenever he's not playing, he can go back to mommy's house.
Yeah.
Did you see that interview? And they go, "Oh yeah, my mom's picking me up in half an hour, but I'm not going to move back home."
No, I did not see that interview.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
they had asked him, and he goes, "Yeah, after this interview, my mom's going to be here in like half an hour to pick me up."
There we go. Joe Flacco makes his way to Indianapolis. Not to Cleveland, as many were hoping.
Man, Cleveland was pissed. Columbus was pissed.
He's probably like, man, I played good. Give me money or get, and he ran for it.
So he's going to sit the pine for another. Well, only thing is that quarterback in Indianapolis might just get himself hurt. Like,
Yeah, he might get
game
it.
one.
Yeah.
It's very possible. Very possible that he's been brought in there to be like, hey, this is how you don't get hurt. Listen, I'm
Yeah.
like 40, and this is how I survive in the game. So watch me.
I think he's brought in there because it's like, hey, this guy's a train wreck, and if he hasn't learned, we need you.
That's it. Marcus Mariota makes his way to the Commanders as Sam Howell is traded to the Seahawks.
Is there going to be a quarterback battle, or you think Geno Smith has it?
I have a feeling Geno
Between
Smith
Sam
has it.
Howell and Geno Smith.
I'm
I would hope Gino wouldn't
Yeah.
have any competition.
better.
Yeah. I think Mariota's a good pick for the Commanders.
My mom.
Yeah, but
wrote-
them trading Sam Howell, I think that just puts the icing on the cake that they're taking quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jimmy G makes his way to the Rams.
Man, he has fallen.
yeah.
He
Yeah.
was one that I thought may have ended up in Minnesota once Kirk signed it.
That would have been a good spot for him too. You're right.
Yeah, we know Sam. He's one of your dudes. Mason
Oh, sorry.
Rudolph's going to Tennessee, just so you know.
Well, all my boyfriends have left me, okay?
So you're stuck with me. Tough shit.
When we get to the Steelers, I'll tell you a funny story about them.
Okay.
Great.
All right, Jim, go ahead and have your Ohio State moment.
It really was more about him, Curtis Samuel, going to the Bills for a receiver. Like now they're going to be another weapon in Buffalo.
Is he another weapon in Buffalo?
The way that Josh Allen plays and will take more reps away from Diggs is more why I put him in there. Like, did that make Diggs happy or not?
Probably not.
I would say probably not, right?
The only good thing for Diggs is if you get another Curtis Samuel's on that level, but another couple good receivers, it takes some of the pressure off. Like, I feel like 90% of the time,
I don't think he likes that.
it's because he's getting like triple covered. And
I don't think he wants anybody.
I don't
there.
think Curtis Samuel is an upgrade from Gabe Davis.
yeah, that's what I mean.
I don't think my whole point is I don't think he wants anyone
I
there.
just would rather just suffer.
And I think that's why we'll end up seeing him leave.
Got it.
Makes me sad, but go ahead.
Oh, you've got one more Ohio State thing here, buddy. Go
You
ahead.
put that in there. Don't act like I did
You
that
added Curtis Samuel, and I don't know why. I don't know why we had to talk about Curtis
because I
Samuel.
wanted to talk about
he
the
went to Ohio
possibility of
State.
Diggs. Oh Christ! I wanted to talk about Diggs' possibility of leaving and whether he'd be happy with any receiver that goes there.
Okay. The Browns hired Mike Vrabel as a coaching and personnel consultant. So he did
That-
land somewhere.
I don't think that'll last long.
Do you think his
Because-
personality is too strong to not be a head coach?
I think another coaching opportunity will open up and he'll be gone. I
That's-
don't see it happening.
That's very
You don't see
possible.
him sticking around and maybe take a coordinator position next year.
No.
He's the first man up
Yeah.
when somebody gets fired.
Yep.
Okay. Something I noticed just generally is overall the running backs, all the moving around, all seem to be getting that 3-year, 20-ish million, give or take, mark, which was kind of what the market was set at last year. I'm not going to say this is collusion amongst the NFL owners and GMs, but it doesn't seem that we're resetting the market after all that was going on last year with the holdouts and contract negotiations. Do we think this is going to be just status quo for the next 5 years with running backs, or are we going to see some movement?
How many
I
of
don't
those
think
guys got off their rookie deals though? I'm just asking.
I don't have that answer, but you've got Derrick Henry.
Oh yeah, that's true.
You have all of the guys that moved around, and they're getting about the same. Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, Aaron Jones, Austin Eckler, right? Those are guys that should be getting top-tier contracts.
And you think 20 is the top? Is that what you're saying?
Well, there's 3 years about 25 million. I think 26 or 27 was about the top, but 3 years 24 I think was the mark that was set last year.
Gotcha.
So what do we think? Status quo?
Yeah,
Yep.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So now we're going to go into our two teams, at least the teams of Nate, Alex, and myself, starting with Nate and the Bucks. Nate, how are you feeling about free agency? What are some of the moves that you have liked? Maybe other ones you'd like to see happen before the season starts?
I think they need to solidify their line on both sides of the ball. I mean, they did re-sign Greg Gaines to go alongside Vita Vea, but I think they're still lacking a pass rusher because they let Shaq Barrett go. I think Shaq went down low south, went to Miami. But re-signing Mike Evans was big. I know there's a lot of talk about him trying to go get a big contract, but I was glad to see him re-sign for a couple years. They franchise tag Antoine Winfield Jr. at safety. They need to get a long-term deal done with him ASAP. They re-signed Levante David to a 1-year deal. I think it was like somewhere in the 8 to 10 range. He's their leader on defense. They let Devin White walk. I can't remember where he signed. So to get that veteran leadership back, and then I really like them bringing Jordan Whitehead back because him and Winfield were just a tandem of just the reminded me like the hard-hitting safety days of like the Brian Dawkins, John Lynch days. I mean, those two are a force to be reckoned with if you throw the ball deep over the middle.
So where are you at right now as far as if you had to give a grade to the Bucks this offseason?
I'd say probably a B minus. I still, again, think they need to go out and sign another edge rusher. And since they traded Carlton Davis to the Lions, they really need to get another corner because I don't remember the guy's name that's going to be filling his spot. But I would like to see them get one of the shutdown corner, whether it be in the draft or I don't know if there's anybody available free agency, but that seems to always be their Achilles heel, especially in a pass happy league.
Okay. You satisfied with Baker Mayfield? You think that's 3 years is a good number?
I think that he's overpaid for 3 years at 100, given all the incentives and everything. But I mean, he earned a contract based on his play last year for the overall. So I wouldn't have gone any more than 2 or 3 years just to see how it goes. But I still think they need to have a contingency plan. I mean, they have Kyle Trask, who had one okay year at Florida, and they really haven't even given him an opportunity. Then I don't even know who else is on the roster at this point.
Yeah, that's it. If you had to pick a potential first round pick, what position would you hope to get? The rusher, or are you looking for some line?
I would say probably an O lineman. I think you can find a rusher pretty much second, third round. But the thing is only few and far between offensive linemen that you can kind of plug and play right away. I mean, they found a diamond in the first round with Tristan Wirfs a couple years ago.
Yeah,
I think to find some interior offensive lineman, whether it be a center or a guard. Now that Jensen's retired, so they got to fill that position. And some reports I've been seeing, they really like that dude from Oregon. I can't remember his name, but they definitely need to find some interior offensive line help.
Okay, there it is. Any other questions for Nate on the Bucks? Anything else, Nate, to share about the Bucks?
I think the re-signings are what is really going to help them out. It's just matter, like I said, if they can find offensive line, find a rusher, maybe another guy in the defensive backfield.
Okay. Now, Alex, for the main event.
The majority holder of our fandom.
Here we go.
Mhm.
Here we go.
Bump. Banana.
Here we go.
Steelers. Here we go.
Pittsburgh goes to the Super Bowl. Here we go. Russ Wilson has a new line.
All right.
Here we go.
Bringing Fields by Deontay.
Here we go.
Omar Khan has the plan for the Steelers to win the Lombardi again. Here we go.
You two are in cahoots, aren't you?
Alex and I, of course we are.
I thought that was fantastic.
This is it. That's how it's going to start. The Steelers have brought in Russ Wilson on a very, very, very team-friendly deal to start out in
because
the Broncos are idiots.
That's what we had to. That's what we had to show there was why Jim should pick the Steelers as his fandom.
Because that's a whole hell of a lot better than hang on Sloopy.
This is.
But yeah, what did he sign? Like a 1 year, 1.2, 1.4?
It's 1 year. Well, it's 2 years. I think the first year is 1.2. I think there's a team option for the second year, I think I should say. I believe that's what that is. So the Steelers bring in Russ Wilson. This is kind of the chronological order of how this went down. The Steelers then signed linebacker Patrick Queen, coming over from the Ravens to a 3-year deal. They then trade Deontay Johnson to the Panthers for Dante Jackson, defensive back.
They got a good deal on him because the letters were so close in their names.
Very close, very close. It's perfect. Then it starts to get a little hectic. Kenny Pickett then gets traded to the Eagles for picks. And then Justin Fields makes his way to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, as he's traded from the Bears for picks as well. Fleecing the Bears yet again. Jim, this should be a feather in the cap because that means also they fleeced Kevin Warren.
Oh, Kevin's an idiot. Like, Kevin is an idiot.
He's not the GM.
So does that mean that Jim's fandom isn't going to go to Chicago?
They're
because of Kevin?
They're on the third lowest.
Yeah. Kevin,
on my scientific poll.
Kevin was very a limiting and decreasing factor in the situation.
Yes.
Significantly so. So aside from those big deals, the Steelers have also signed Van Jefferson from Minnesota and released Chukwuma Okorafor and the offensive line along with Mason Cole at center. Also releasing Patrick Peterson, who played safety at the end part of last year. So Steelers are really the team making most of the big headlines thus far.
I have always really liked Van Jefferson as a wide receiver, so I'm excited about that.
Yes. Don't know if he replaces Deontay Johnson fully, but imagine the Steelers are going to make a run for either another wide receiver in free agency or go to the draft. So if I were to give the Steelers a grade at this point, I'm going to give them that B plus A minus.
Yeah, I like that.
Salary
I
cap,
did
salary cap is an A plus.
Yeah,
I did see a notification earlier that said they're going to bring in Mike Williams for a visit.
Yes, so that would bring everything to the A minus A range if they are able to bring him in. So good things for Steelers. Omar Khan doing a good job. They've definitely, I think, caught up with other teams in the league and saying we're not going to hold on to draft picks if we don't think they're going to work out. Now's the time to get rid of them before we have to sign them again.
yes. I'm with you, Muff. I was gonna go A minus ish area. Then I was like, maybe saying A is too much. But if you factor in the salary cap, I mean, I'm confident. I'm happy. As a Steelers fan, I'm happy.
Jim, Nate, questions?
No.
Let's say they don't get Mike Williams, and you have Van Jefferson, who's a vet. You had George Pickens going into year 2 or 3, Calvin Austin, who's unproven. How do you feel with that passing game lineup?
You got to get something in a draft. Like that's not a proven. I mean, there's no clear number one. I mean, George Pickens is the number one, but he's also still young and at this point doesn't do much than go on the outside.
Where do they sit right now, draft wise, in the first round? Like between 15 and 20?
Yeah, it's middle of the road as they typically are. And they've picked up more draft picks, but mostly in later rounds at this point through all of these other moves.
So do you think there's any chance they try to move up and try to get a receiver, or just sit and hold on and see what comes to them?
Yeah, at this point, I don't know what Omar Khan's going to do. He seems to be a wild card, and he may make some of these blockbuster moves and try to get a top 10 pick and try to get one of the top 3 or 4 wide receivers, which I'm not upset about. It would just be off. It would be off script and off brand for the Steelers. Definitely. So I wouldn't be upset about it, but yeah, I would imagine we're probably using one of those first or second round picks to get another target in there. Alex, any other thoughts? Jim, questions? Don't feel any sort of way about Justin Fields coming to Pittsburgh?
Oh, apparently Glitter person here has a Steelers story.
Oh, Steelers story. If this isn't about the Steelers, you're not allowed to tell any more stories on the podcast ever.
It involves the Steelers.
Go.
So the other day at work, I had a patient and he was talking about the trading and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, they got rid of my boyfriend. And he's like, who? I'm like, well, Mason Rudolph was my first boyfriend. And then I had Mitch, but then I also had Kenny. And he just looks at me and goes, do you have a thing for quarterbacks or something?
Just the white
I'm
ones.
like, I said, well, just the ones from the Steelers, but they were all my boyfriends. And he's like, yeah, but they replaced them with Russell Wilson. And I said, okay, well, I don't really care about Russell Wilson, but I care if I see Sierra walking through Ross Park Mall. And he didn't really think that was funny.
He probably had no idea who Sierra was.
Also true.
He's a big sports guy.
Yeah, but Sierra doesn't play sports.
But Sierra's married to him.
Some people might think Sierra's just the name of one of his daughters.
But people think that I'm crazy when I say that I had 3 quarterback boyfriends on the Steelers.
That's not why they think you're crazy.
Jimmy G is also on that list.
Jimmy G is also my boyfriend. So sorry, Nate.
You know what I'm starting to notice, though?
What?
Is she likes a lot of losing quarterbacks.
Ooh, who's the next one? That's what we need to know.
They have pretty faces.
Yeah, we'll have to find you a new losing quarterback, boyfriend.
Well,
No,
I'm
she
still
she needs to find them. That way we know they're a loser.
too.
Oh,
Yeah, it
don't
could be like
worry.
like don't draft him in fantasy. Sam has a crush on him.
Yeah.
Well, that could be a fun game.
That would be fun.
Oh, do you want to do me a favor? Make Kirk Cousins your new boyfriend. Because he's in the division.
Bingo. That's the one. Well, you
Yeah,
can't lead her
yeah.
to this, Nate. It has to naturally happen.
Yeah, don't do that because I like Kirk Cousins.
All
All
right.
right.
All right, Jim. Now's the time for you to update the world on your fandom.
Well, it's getting closer. I've done some scientific rankings. I've made some categories. I've brought some people in on the science, some opinions. So here's the categories. So far, I have their hometown, like the town in which they play. Will I go to said town? Their colors, how many Buckeyes they have on their team, number of games I saw that I could have seen last year of that team. I rank how much I like their fan base. I rank their coach. And then there's some sketchier ones. Okay. Will it make me a bandwagon fan to just jump on and make them be a fan of that team? That was not done by me. That was done by my coworkers. There is the racist component. I found a racist blog where they were championing the white teams, and then I just inverted it because fuck that racist guy. I had my wife rank the teams based on what she liked, and then I subtracted points from teams. One, minus 8,000 points for having Kevin associated with your team, minus 9,000 points for having Jerry Jones associated with your team, and minus 10,000 points for having Jim Harbaugh associated with your team.
And just so we're clear,
Cool.
minus 10,000 on a scale that any other total points is no more than 32 in any given category to win means
Correct.
that automatically excludes you from potentially being Jim's team.
Exactly. So the top five.
Hold
as
on,
of-
did
go
you
ahead, go-
not include one of the other categories?
Which category? Which one I missed?
Cheerleaders?
Oh, the cheerleader category. Yes, we'll be ranking the cheerleaders in the teams that have cheerleaders. That will be the one I have left to do. And I'm debating adding a mascot category. That's
So Jim
up-
doesn't want to be a Steelers fan.
that Muff. That,
Jim, I have a question before you get to your thing here. Because whenever you say hometown,
Yeah.
so what about a team like the Giants or the Jets that say they're New York, but they play in New Jersey?
I will tell you that they did not rank well because I don't want to go to that town.
Because I was thinking teams like that and teams like the quote unquote Buffalo Bills, but they don't play in Buffalo.
I just the spot that they're in, do I like it?
Based on the team name.
No, based on the geolocation
Of
the
the
stadium.
stadium.
of the stadium.
Got it.
Yeah,
So stadium location, not hometown.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Do I like it? Okay.
Got it.
The top five in the running currently. Browns are leading, then the Bills, then the Seahawks, and then the Patriots.
That's 4.
Then the Panthers.
Browns, Bills.
I have such
Yeah.
an interesting thought on how the Patriots, of all teams, somehow on this gentleman's racist scale. Jim, that's Boston. You have been
Buddy, I know. I
you're
know.
using
I was
somebody's scale
stunned.
that you don't even agree with.
Well, he had them as one of the less white teams in the league. And he had a whole sign.
So this is
behind it.
what is this racist factor based on?
So I
How
took
many people
I
on the
took-
team, or is this the city?
how many of his starters are white.
That's
then
how
I
we're
inverted
that's,
it.
That's how we're gauging this.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what makes a team racist.
Not the team
That they have more white
that
starting
It's
players.
my revenge against that that racist guy.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not saying the team's racist. I'm saying I'm getting revenge on that racist guy.
Okay, it's your ranking system.
Yeah,
That one just didn't add up to me.
I know, man. I know.
So the Browns, the Bills, the Seahawks, and the Patriots,
And the Panthers.
and then the Panthers.
Yeah.
Doesn't the Browns seem like a bandwagon type situation for you?
Uh, they were ranked at 9. Well, they got 9 points for that instead of 32. So they were bandwagon
They were
wise.
low on that.
They were very low on that.
Well, and
for-
I think he gets a little bit of grace on that because he's in Ohio.
Mhm.
And they did not do well in the bandwagon category.
So, of your top 5, Jim, let's hear one major point on how they made your top 5.
Starting with
Uh,
the Browns.
The Browns have the most black folks playing for them. That's how they scored very high. And the Joe points. The
Oh,
Joe
shoot.
points got them up there. The Bills, they scored high in the hometown, and they scored high on the fan base. And those were and the coach. I didn't mind the coach either.
Yeah.
The Seahawks, I love
The sa-
Seattle.
Same coach who's making 9/11 jokes.
Don't try, it's my ranking, damn it.
Listen, I'm just asking questions about your rankings and how we've come here.
That played a factor, okay, but not very much.
Obviously, he was
Seahawks-
top 5.
The Seahawks, I love Seattle, and
You love their starting quarterback because he's from WVU.
Woo!
they fell low on the racing scale. They did well.
High on your points factor.
Yeah, high on my points factor. Patriots, I like the hometown. The fan base scored well.
Why does the fan base score well?
I like the
I
fan base.
feel like they annoy me.
I like the Patriots.
As a Steelers fan, that makes sense for us, Alex. I can get on board with that.
Okay,
Well, because they relate very much to the Ohio State fan base.
exactly.
Fair.
And they also scored well on the Buckeye scores. The Panthers, hometown, not bad. They scored well on the will. They got some bonus points because I will go to a Panthers game. I love their colors, and I wouldn't be a bandwagon. They did real well on the bandwagon.
Yeah, that one is off the charts. I'm not.
Yeah.
Right. Did real well there. So that's how they did so well.
Is there a team in your scientific ranking that you wish would have scored higher?
The Texans, I wish were a little higher. The Jaguars, I also wish were a little higher.
Texans are still a top 10. Jaguars barely made the top 20 for you.
Yeah.
Let's look at your bottom 3. Well,
yes.
rephrase that. Let's not. Your bottom 3 are the
Bottom 3
Chargers,
should
Cowboys,
not look
Bears.
at.
Let's look at the next 3, which are
Yeah.
the Bucks, Vikings, and Ravens. Nate,
Uh-huh.
do you take some affront to that the Bucks are the lowest ranked team aside from the Bears, Cowboys, and Chargers?
I knew this was going to be a thing. Let me first say the hometown scored very poorly. And the will I go to a game because my mother lives in Tampa? I'm never going to go there.
Oh boy.
If he would have just said Baker Mayfield, that would have been good too.
Like I don't mind the rest of it, but that's where it got tagged. And they have no Buckeyes on the team.
That's why Nate loves them.
Maybe that's why they won a Super Bowl a couple years ago, but never mind.
Hey,
Oh.
Good be.
Deserved that.
shots fired. And next you have the Vikings.
I hate purple. And the TV viewership did not help.
Toppers.
Built.
The Vikings would be really high up my list if I had to pick another team, I think. Maybe not now so much that Kirk Cousins is gone.
Ravens,
Yep.
I hate purple.
Purple.
And
Don't want to go there.
I did not like their coach.
I wonder why.
Oh. Yeah.
And they scored horribly on the Joe factor.
Technically, you said, do they have anything to do with Jim Harbaugh? Technically, they do. It is John
That's
Harbaugh.
true. So I should give
Brother,
them
but
minus
Jim will be
7,000
around.
points. You're right.
Anybody affiliated with the Harbaughs gets minus billions of
That's what
points.
I was
Minus
taking it
7.
to be.
Why is
You're
your why does your wife not like them?
I don't know. I should have asked her.
I don't. I mean, I'm just curious at that
I'll
point.
ask her.
Still
Good
from
I
the
point.
wonder if she has like some deep seated hatred that we don't know.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
That's not a good point. I'm just curious.
I'll have to ask her.
All right. Anything else on?
I wish the Steelers had scored higher.
Do you?
I do. I wish they'd scored higher. I did not figure they would be because prior to doing the numbers,
Mhm.
when talking with my coworkers, they had been ranked like super high when we were talking about it. But like the fan base killed it. I hate the fan base.
Are your coworkers influencing your thoughts in any way?
No.
No.
What I'm hearing out of all of this is Jim is a big analytics guy.
Big analytics. So you can no longer make the Hilltopper claim ever again.
I
Big
didn't
analytics
want my
guy.
my fandom decided on just randomness.
Fair.
Couldn't happen.
Shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
So using another man's racist list is not random.
You gotta have some like
That's the wild card.
sticking it to the man.
There's your wild card factor. Was that man's list that you can only vet so far?
What killed me was the TV viewership.
Yeah,
Like that sucked.
that's very objective.
Because I was looking at that like the Chiefs. Look at the Chiefs. Where's that at? I could have watched 13 Chiefs games. Why? Oh, they're Super Bowl champ.
Right.
But I could have seen like 15 Steeler games, 15 Bengals games, 15. Well, duh. 10 Lions games, 12 fucking Cowboys games.
Two Panthers games.
Two. No, zero.
What I'm Atlanta hearing
games.
is we need to all chip in and get you a thing for NFL Sunday Ticket on YouTube TV.
That's what it feels like. It would help my fandom.
It would help broaden the options.
Yeah.
All
But I
right.
could see zero Atlanta games. Zero.
Well, you're going to see some this year.
Well,
I
that
bet.
or maybe you just need to get Red Zone.
Yeah.
I feel like you're going to see some Atlanta games even if you don't want to this year because Kirk Cousins is there.
That's true.
I feel like you're going to get one or two just because.
So I plan on wrapping this up after the draft. We should have an answer.
Right, and you're going to have the Buckeye factor will change.
Yeah. I'll have the cheerleader thing done by then.
Mm-hmm.
So
You're gonna have a routine.
yeah. Yeah. I might have to, and some bad things could happen. I'll have to add some more minuses in there.
You going to start going through the Harbaugh coaching tree?
No. But like somebody might do something stupid, you know?
That's fair. That's
So,
fair. All right.
That's my fandom.
We will check back in with Jim post.
I'm still taking offers too.
He still can be bought.
Yeah.
Fandom still can be bought. Have there been any other additional offers from people in your life?
No offers. I have been. Some people have tried to sway me towards the Patriots. And then I have been poked to do the Seattle thing.
Why are
that I
you
could
so
see
nosy?
a hockey game and a football game.
Okay.
Yeah.
There it is. All right. In other news in the sports world, the NCAA tourney initial reactions, starting out with some of the items on the men's side. If anybody has any updates on the women's side, we can get to that because that bracket has come out.
Has it? That's what I was waiting on.
It came out at 8:00, I believe.
That's
On the
moot.
men's side, Purdue gets another #1 seed, but will they disappoint the committee again? To be determined. Other #1 seeds on the men's side include UConn, Houston, and North Carolina. Some other interesting things that happened going into Selection Sunday. North Carolina State gets the 11th seed in the South and will take on Texas Tech in a first-round matchup after the Wolfpack
In
make an
Pittsburgh.
improbable run as ACC champs behind the big man. And if you don't know who this man is yet, Jim, Look him up, DJ Burns Jr. from North Carolina State.
Got it.
He's,
That game
he's
is
your,
in
he's your kind of
Pittsburgh.
player. That's in the Pittsburgh?
Yep.
In the Pittsburgh region. Former West Liberty University basketball player and Coastal Athletic Association Sixth Man of the Year, Bryce Butler is part of the College of Charleston team that won the CEA and will play Alabama in their first round.
I'm ready for that. Rooting for him.
Local tie. Despite a lackluster season and many not believing they would make it, Tom Izzo and the Spartans of Michigan State make the tourney as an 8 seed. Many didn't even think they were going to get in, let alone get that high of a seed. This is probably the team that most are having issue with, that shouldn't be in, as a middling team in the Big Ten, and they did not make any type of run in the conference tournament.
But Izzo.
That is what people think is the but Izzo situation is coming up. Just for you, Jim, the Western Kentucky
Hilltoppers
made the tourney as a 15 seed, taking on the 2 seed Marquette in the first round. We have no Indiana State, so no Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And the Sycamores, the Sycamores had the highest net rank to ever not make the tourney. That was one of the teams that people were down on Michigan State getting into. We have no St. John's, so we have no Rick Pitino.
Don't mind.
not upset.
Is what it is. All right, Alex. Sorry, no WVU.
Yeah, I know.
As expected.
Yeah, no.
Jim, we
Yeah.
need a Columbus update with women's basketball, men's new basketball head
Women's
coach,
basketball, they
and
still
the
don't give a
football
shit.
news. Women's
Women's
basketball
basketball,
still
they still don't give a shit.
okay. If
Men's
they won the Big
basketball-
Ten tourney, would they have cared?
Yeah. I mean, there was upsetness, like, oh, they lost. But that was about it.
Is there a chance they care at all, depending on how far they go?
Ugh. I have no answer for you on that one, man. I don't know. It's very weird to me. Men's, they're very pumped that we've hired the interim coach as a full-time.
We're happy about that.
Very pumped. Yeah. I could give a shit less, but
You don't care.
I don't care.
How does that impacting everybody's thoughts? Remember that was impacting the football situation?
It's spring game time, buddy.
We're all good now.
All we're thinking about now is spring game. That's it.
Thank goodness you guys are reasonable.
Like 2 weeks till spring game. 2 or 3. That's it. Schedules have been changed, days off requested. Spring game.
Spring game. Trying
Yeah.
to have battles with Michigan as far as their coaching situation, people
Oh,
getting DUIs.
Now that little bit of anger there. Running back coach went from Ohio State to Michigan at the same position. A little bit of anger there, a little bit of frustration. But it is what it is. There's a kerfuffle. You'll hear the random conversation of like, we gotta beat Michigan. He's got all the tools. We gotta beat Michigan. We don't care about the playoffs.
Playoffs?
We gotta beat Michigan.
That's it.
Yeah.
Beat Michigan, Ryan Day safe another year.
Oh yeah. There's that conversation.
Lose to Michigan.
Make the playoffs, win the national championship. What happens then?
Gone.
Even though he wins a natty.
Probably a riot in the street.
This is why you can't objectively talk about fan bases.
That's the fan base.
I didn't say I agree with it.
Oh, I know, but you live in that world.
That you're skewed.
I did not say I agree with it. But spring game.
Nate, you had a question?
Is you ever going to be part of that riot in the street?
No.
Mm.
I will tell you this from a legitimate, and I think the three of you can agree. If you've had all of the hype around all the signings that you've had, you then go get Chip Kelly. You do all the work that you've done in the offseason and you don't beat Michigan, there has to be like an explanation.
Yeah, like what's going on
Like
here?
you don't get to go, well, we're going to the playoffs. Like you need to have like some statement. Like what went wrong?
What went wrong?
What if they're just better on that day?
I don't know that I don't think I'm unreasonable by saying like then come out and say that. Come out and say they were better. Don't just blow it off and say, well, we're disappointed. On to the next. Like, no. You have to own your shit.
We
Okay.
lost.
Like you have to say it.
You just want to say it
Yeah.
Even if he doesn't mean it.
Yeah.
Just needs
with
to be
conviction.
needs to have performance. Okay.
Yeah.
That's it. If that's what Columbus needs.
I
That's
didn't say
what
that.
Columbus
I said
needs.
it's what I need.
That's what you
Columbus needs blood.
need.
I just need an explanation.
Right. We have the women's bracket.
I can't get it to come up. I'm real pissed.
Real quick, the number 1 seeds are South Carolina, Iowa, USC, and Texas.
We
Those are
weren't
the
on here to
seeds.
talk about it, but I'm assuming we all saw the South Carolina LSU brawl.
Oh, thank you for bringing that up.
They're away.
Yes.
Where are they not in the same corner of the bracket, are they?
No.
Oh.
They would not
Something
meet
like-
until the championship game if they did. LSU's a 3 seed.
Yeah.
LSU and Iowa are on the same side of the bracket, so Iowa and LSU would meet in a Final Four matchup to go to the national championship game. South Carolina and Texas
Nice.
are the ones
There
on
it
the
is.
other side.
Are we rooting for Caitlin Clark?
Yes.
I'm not rooting against her. I mean, you're going to root against her in the second round if West Virginia wins, Alex, because if West Virginia beats Princeton in their first round game, they're going to play Iowa if Iowa beats their 16
yeah.
seed play-in game.
I mean, WVU is always going to have my Clark, so.
There you go. But yeah, that brawl.
Whew.
Yeah, girls get spicy.
Spicy, I think, is a tame,
Yeah, I don't know
tame
if
word
that's
for
the
what just
word.
happened. They got downright nasty.
Yeah.
Nastier than that dude from Florida today.
Well, that's different. He hurt
I
himself.
love you, Muff.
He hurt himself. This was
different.
people taking action against each other.
This was a full blown punch.
He lost his body. The body lost the battle to him. These were people playing against each other.
I don't know, Jim. Did you ever give me an answer on what that is? Since it's probably more than a Gumby.
No, I did not. I don't know what's more
in
than a Gumby.
the Florida Auburn championship game. We had a compound fracture. We had some shin bone coming through a dude's
I
leg.
feel like we have one of those
But not
every
like the
year.
dude from Louisville 10 years
No,
ago.
that was totally different. What bone was that, Alex?
The tibia.
Was that his tibia? Okay.
I'm pretty sure in the Louisville one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was his tibia. Maybe freaking his fibula. It just snapped and came through.
Freaking his fibia.
But do
I
we
just
want to
remember-
talk about?
I just remember my mom and my brother
What?
had that game on the back, and my brother goes, "Oh, there's blood."
I remember watching it and being like, what happened to his leg? Because I definitely saw it and I was like, that's not natural, whatever just happened there. And I never saw it again until the replays. And I was like,
I know. They're like, "Oh,
it
wait,
was
they're
not
bringing a-
natural.
Must be serious."
You're right. We put a towel over his leg. Why? Oh, so nobody can see that.
UConn could play Ohio State second round.
Ohio State's 2 seed.
Like, I'm excited for that. I'm here for it.
You're here for it. What else? Ohio State is
Watching
in
women's
the
basketball, so that's exciting for me.
yeah. Ohio State's on the USC bracket. Wait, Ohio State is either going to play Duke or Richmond in the second round, Jim.
In the girls' tournament?
Yes,
No.
Jim. The 2 plays the
yeah,
15.
I'm
The
sorry.
7 plays the 10.
Third round. My fault.
Anything else in the women's bracket of note?
I'm excited.
Stanford's a 2 seed. All right. So we got going on there. Nate, have you started to get behind the plate yet?
Yes, I had 3 scrimmages last week, and I had my first game this past Saturday.
And do you wish you would have done more wall sits, walking, running?
I'm just glad I didn't decide to do legs leading up to it because my legs were sore after the first one. Gonna take some time getting back into the saddle.
Take some time. In other college football news, we are closing in on a 14-team playoff coming in the future, and we haven't even played a 12-team playoff yet. What do we think about this at this point? All but foregone conclusion that this is going to happen, and how long till there are additional changes to expand the field in the future?
It's kind of hard to know because I haven't seen how the 12 team looks yet.
Why can't they just follow the D1 AA or bracket? That seems to be working just freaking fine.
How many teams
They're
are in that?
freaking fine.
16?
I think 16, I think.
Well, we're going to get to 16 next because the
Probably, and then it's
the
going to
Power
be
5 schools are going to want more.
and then it's going to become 20, and then never know, it's going to be like a damn field of 64.
We're only going to get 5 regular season games followed by a tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Does Columbus care, Jim?
We don't care.
All they care about is beating Michigan. We've been over this.
But no, like we don't care how many they're going to be because we assume we're already in it. I shouldn't say we, they assume they're already in it.
I think you assume it to some degree as well.
I think 14, I would already assume it.
Yeah.
12, I'm still kind of like, maybe not.
What's the lowest end of your ranking that Ohio State had in the past 5 years, Jim?
I have to go back to the Vrabel year, probably 11.
Right. I feel like you can pretty safely assume that you're going to make it.
Yeah.
What do we think about the non-Power 5 school situation?
I mean,
How does
I think
that
at that
work?
point you have to put them in there, not in a sense to shut them up, but to give them the opportunity to say, "Oh, well, how can you have a national champion in Division I without us?"
I agree with that.
Anything you go. Play yourself out.
Yes, Alex, that was what words were you trying to say?
I had a big yawn in the middle of that. I said, "There you go. Play it out. Let the football gods do its work. You think you're good enough to be there?" I don't disagree. Some of the teams I think would have put up a good fight, but
I almost think it would be fun to have a first round game play as like a de facto play-in game for the non-Power 5 schools, so they can say they had a playoff win.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That would be cool.
And I like the fact that they're going to have the higher seed host the first round at least, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not going to be any of this neutral site stuff until at least their second round, or
So
until
Neil Brown. So when Neil Brown and WVU make it to the playoffs this year, we'll get a playoff
They won't
game.
host a game.
No, we'll get a playoff game in Morgantown. I'm thinking high. Big 12 champs.
They outperformed last year. Who's to say they can't do it again?
If you shoot for the stars, at least you'll land among the clouds.
Are we
Or on
still
the-
on college
or on the
football
moon.
news? Can I
Sure.
interject?
Have at it.
So, I don't know about our video game prowess here, but the new NCAA comes out in July.
Yes.
Who among us here, A, has the new console, has a new generation console, and B, is getting that game?
I don't even know what the next
Xbox
generation
One.
console is, Jim.
The new Xbox or PS5?
I don't know what it's called anymore.
Me either.
If it's available on an Xbox One, I will be purchasing it.
If it's available on a Nintendo Switch, I'll buy it. That's where I'm at.
I think I'm in the Xbox One world as well, Nate.
I have PS4.
I will not be buying a new system if it means I have to get it for the game.
Because you literally don't use the one that you already have.
Exactly.
Okay.
I'd like to, but I just like at this point in my life can't be just like dropping that kind of money on a video game that I'll use for one video game probably.
Fair. I just needed to know.
Jim, what system are you rocking right now?
I have a PS4 in the basement that I haven't hooked up since I moved here 2 years ago. But I will be purchasing a PS5 for that game.
Do you have to get a PS5?
No, but like, why not? What better time than now?
The PS4, you can still play the game though.
I don't know that you can, first of all.
If you can, I'll totally get it.
If you can't, I don't care. I'm getting the PS5 for this game.
I have every kind of PlayStation in my house right now. PS1, 2, 3, 4. I don't have the 5.
I think now is the time.
Rival football on the Xbox, PS5, and PC. Maybe we'll become PC gamers, guys.
Yeah, there you go. Can I play on my little laptop?
That's how it's gonna go.
I think now's the time, guys.
I'm not gonna upgrade just for this game, just so we're clear.
I second that.
I feel like the Xbox is going to allow this for Xbox One. So Nate and I may be in a spot where we can play this, Jim, and you have to buy a whole new platform.
Oh, I'm already in the market, bud.
Okay. All right.
This is happening.
And lastly, the Players Championship at Sawgrass was held over the weekend with world number 1 Scotty Scheffler winning the event and
All right,
$4
Muff.
million
All right.
plus play day.
If there was a new Tiger Woods game that came out,
No,
would that change your mind?
no. I play golf for real, Jim.
Yeah, but there's winter months where you can't.
I can go to Top Golf now.
That's true. That's fair.
I have options.
All right.
Yeah, Scotty Scheffler is the winner. This weekend did not go without controversy in the golf world, as many are still wondering what the future holds with Live PGA, and some calling into question the superstar power of a hallmark PGA event, not including the big names like Phil Mickelson, Dustin Johnson, Bryson DeChambeau, and Brooks Koepka. Can the PGA sustain this summer without those big names?
So wait, they're not playing this year either?
Depending on the event.
So I actually watched some of this, and this is off
Golf is
topic
dumb.
from the big name players, but did you see? And I wish I could remember who it was that did it. Hit a ball from I think he was in the rough off the fairway, and it bounced once on the green, and it was like, bloop, and it went bloop, right into the cup.
For our audio
That'll happen.
listeners, what does that mean?
It went bloop, bloop.
It bounced straight into the cup in the air.
Yeah, it hit the green one time, bounced up in the air, and went bloop, right in the cup.
I thought this may be going into the water. I thought that's what that sound effect was.
Oh no, I did watch a couple bad splash.
Right. Well, Sawgrass has the island green, which is
Yeah.
where all the fun happens. Jim again hates golf. This time
Actually,
because what, Jim?
The fact that we're not going to let these guys play, I thought we had this solved.
Potentially working towards having it solved, but for now, especially the major championships, because they operate like the college football playoff committee, Jim. So just like they're going to keep out all of the non-Power 5 conference champions, the PGA is keeping out all of the non-PGA members.
This would be
I
like if
honestly-
Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson, Michigan, Texas said, we're going to go break off on our own, do our own thing.
So what's
And
going to
then-
happen?
And then the NCAA was like, listen, guys, let's be friends again. And then we're friends again. And then we were like, but we're not going to let you play in the big stuff. That's stupid.
I mean, it's what the NCAA is doing right now anyway, Jim.
No, it's not, because nobody's broke off yet. Either stick to your guns and say, we hate you, we're not going to play with you.
Oh, but wait.
Well, let them all back in.
So conference champions from non-Power 5 are going to be in the playoff in the future?
Muff. We're talking about the big dogs. The big dog's leaving. Right?
You're talking about the big names. They don't necessarily are always going to be the big dogs. Phil Mickelson, only
Past his
one.
prime.
Yeah, he's past his prime. DJ
Are-
Dustin Johnson past his prime. Bryson, who the hell knows what he's getting into. Brooks Koepka, still, you can still say he's in that prime.
I'd rather
They're
watch.
going to
Scotty
bring
Scheffler.
money.
Almost definitely, they're going to bring viewership.
Okay.
That is never been in doubt.
Okay.
But the viewership isn't necessarily happening at Live right now.
Whatever. I think it's dumb.
And that's golf talk.
For
Any other topics for today?
I actually had a woman at the hospital come up to me like there's just a luncheon thing, and she's like, I can't wait till you start golfing again because I miss your golfing video updates.
That's funny.
And my boss
Ah,
just like turned around and looked at me. He doesn't like Facebook or anything. He's like, "What?" I was like, hi."
for the record, once the weather consistently turns warmer, Alex and I have already set up Alex's training regimen, which will include 2 stops at the range, a par 3 outing, 2 more stops at the range, and then Alex is gonna get his first treat on a 9-hole course.
All right.
Yep, we're gonna do it. I'm
I'm
excited.
excited.
Nate, you can join in as much as you would like.
As long as baseball doesn't get in the way, that's the moneymaker.
I feel like baseball may get in the way.
Yeah.
Alex and I usually do these on Friday evenings.
Ugh.
I don't think there's a lot of Friday evenings that I have games. And it's weird, like I've noticed, like, whatever happened to the double headers on Saturdays? Like a varsity JV doubleheader or varsity playing a doubleheader.
Are there still enough kids in these schools to play JV games?
Not really, but I mean, usually, like I always remember playing 2 games on Saturday. It's like there's hardly any on my schedule. I think I have one
Doubleheader.
doubleheader.
That is odd. I agree. Speaking of, well, it's not necessarily odd, but what's going to be fun is this Thursday, there's going to be a Most of Us podcast outing between Alex, Nate, and myself. We're going to head down to the casino to play some live bets
This is news to me.
during
No,
the
it's
first
not.
round of the
Not on the
NCAA
calendar.
basketball
And
tournament.
they're fighting again.
And
Put
we
it on the calendar.
may have come across an issue in the Harper household, which brings us to the end of this week's episode. Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff. As a reminder, follow us on all the socials. Make sure you get on the Tourney Bracket Challenge. It is free to enter, and you have the opportunity to win free prizes.
Prizes.
For free.
Sponsored by Harper and Co.
I don't know. Yes.
She's gonna hate all of us. Can we get in this show, please?
Yes. Harper and Company will be the
Exclusive
prizes.
sponsor.
the exclusive manufacturer of all of the goods for all of the winners. So make sure that you tell all your friends so that you can be a friend.
And if you want to be our friend, because we might have lost one tonight.
Be a friend.
Friend.